We are streaming on YouTube, and now we're streaming on Twitch. Clutch. All right. Welcome back to the From Half Court sports talk show with Darren and I, with Robert and Darren. Today, it's pretty slow news day altogether. So today we're just going to be talking about the Khalil Mack trade that happened yesterday. Darren, do you know the details, or do you have any thoughts on the Khalil Mack trade?
I don't know all the details, and my main thought is good. I think LA Chargers, their organization is starting to play like the Rams. Give me a known commodity for unknown commodities. Let's try to win this thing now. The thing is, they got a defensive coach this past year in Brandon Staley, and they took a defensive step backwards. So I think that this is a piece that helps them with the defensive side.
It's always a good trade when you're getting one of the best defensive players in football. They already have a great pass rusher on the other side of the field in Joey Bosa. So to get him a crime fighter, a buddy on the other side of the line, a it's like kind of like a buddy cop movie for a defensive lineman.
Ooh.
Okay, that's not good. Okay, but it's always good to have two great defensive linemen. So
Yeah.
especially at the pass rusher positions. So there's no way I don't see this hurting the Chargers anyway. Worst case scenario is always injuries. Um, but I think it's a great trade to upgrade your defense. You still have young talent on your offense. You can always. They just signed. Speaking of the Chargers, they just re-signed Mike Williams to a nice contract. A lot of people thought he was going to be leaving in a free agency this year, but he played his way into a nice contract with them. Uh, so that's nice to see that they're trying to keep that offense intact, getting better on the defensive side of the ball. Everybody usually gets better in the draft with younger players. So this team's going to be
uh,
really interesting next year.
Boo. I don't think it's interesting. I think it's just a cause and effect thing. I think this is a direct correlation with the Russell Wilson news to the Broncos. You got to get a pass rusher to get that quarterback down. You already had trouble getting Patrick Mahomes down, so you might as well try to shore up the other side, get Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson down. The only thing I really don't like about this is that Khalil Mack was with the Raiders, and I'm a Raiders fan. And now he's back in our division, and we got to play him. That's the only thing that bothers me.
So you can definitely thank John Gruden for that.
Yeah, I guess.
It's
Yeah.
really about to be week to week for you if you believe in that Josh Jacobs, Khalil Mack trade, because that's what y'all ended up getting from, right, Josh Jacobs. If they meet
Yeah,
each other
Josh.
in the hole and one side wins, I feel like your emotional roller coaster as a football fan is going to go crazy on the inside.
No, no. The Raiders played the Bears like 3 times when Khalil Mack was with the Bears, maybe 2 or 3 times. I'm good. I'm not a. I think it was a good trade, honestly. I don't like giving up Khalil Mack. Um, but we changed our whole team around, and every other team is doing it too. Which is, do we know what the Bears got back yet?
Uh, when I checked ESPN, it said Chicago was still finalizing the deal, so they're probably just getting like details done. But it looks like the deal's
There's
going to
no
be
way
done.
we found out the news and what Russell Wilson was going for. Well, we don't know what Khalil Mack is going for right now.
Look, it sounds like they're not done with the deal. It's just like Khalil Mack's going to the Chargers. Okay, what's like the little nuances of it? What players are we going to get back? What draft pick are we going to get back? We know we want to do it. It's just a matter of like getting all the details done, type shit.
I don't know, man. I want to know who they gave up. Like
The
now.
Chargers are expected to send a 2022 second round draft pick, a 2023 six rounder to the Bears in return for a 31-year-old Mac. So right now it's looking like a second and a six. They're guessing. They don't know.
That's disgusting. That is disgusting. That is disgusting. That's not giving up much. I understand he's older, but that's not giving up much at all.
You keep your first round pick. That's nice.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Sheesh. But once again, I said it last year. At some point around when the season was starting, the AFC West is the one of the strongest divisions, and it still remains true after Russell Wilson news and the Khalil Mack news. The AFC West is the most stacked division of football.
I disagree with that.
There's no way you could possibly disagree with it.
The NFC West.
You're wrong. They just lost Russell Wilson. They lost Bobby Wagner. They're debatably going to lose Jimmy Garoppolo. We don't know if Odell's going to resign. We don't know if Robert Woods' injury is going to make him as good as what he was prior to his injury. Last time we saw D Hop, he didn't play in the playoff game with Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray didn't run in that game. And yeah,
Hmm.
would you rather have Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa or Chandler Jones and JJ Watt at the current age that they're at right now?
Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa.
Thank you. I very much rest my case.
Do you know who is really gonna make that a crazy jump this year?
Before you go into that, I need you to admit that my division is the most strongest division in football. You're not just going to tippy toe past that. I didn't make the point.
Uh, so you know he's really gonna play well next year.
Are you really about to do this? Who's the better quarter? Who? All right, no, we're doing this for real. They have Drew Lock at quarterback right now, and Geno Smith in Seattle. They're Jimmy Garoppolo is in San Francisco. I like Jimmy G, but he's not better than any quarterback in that division right now in the AFC East or AFC West.
I see what you're saying, Darren, but your worst team, uh, just because your worst team in your division is better than their worst team in that division,
Say something.
I don't think that correlates. I think just because every team in your division can stomp their worst team in their division on paper right now, I don't know if that
Every
makes you guys better. Yo, what's up, Murd? Oh, old Buck, how you doing today, bro? Check out. We're talking about the Khalil Mack trade right now. Right now, my boy Darren is thinking the AFC West
no,
is the best division of football. What do you think?
wrong. If you think anything other than what I'm saying, you're wrong. I gotta say that. You're hold
I can
on.
speak
You
first,
just
Darren.
said. Did you just say that because any team in the AFC West can stop any team in the NFC West
No, no,
doesn't
no.
mean
You
that
already.
they're the stronger
That's not what I
division?
said. That's not what I said.
Okay, I'm asking. What did you say?
I'm saying I'm saying just because any team in your division, all four teams, can stomp the worst team in their division, Seattle, on paper, I don't think that makes you a better division. Because they only have one weak link in that division. But I think the top the top three can carry over if we make up that slack for Seattle. Is basically what I'm trying to get at.
You're wrong. You're just wrong. You're just wrong. You're just wrong. Just wrong.
Because I feel like you're
Fact-
making a deaf argument.
Who? This isn't even a question. This is not a question, dog. Their best quarterback is Matthew Stafford, and he's great. But then
So let's
all
put it like
four.
this: all three of those NFC West teams that we just named, the Cardinals, 49ers, and the
Rams.
Rams,
Rams.
are all those teams have both sides of the ball. Are way more than above average at both sides of the ball. You can say they're good at both sides of the ball. Am I correct?
Yeah, yeah.
For your division, I think we can say there are two teams where they're above average, but are they considered good defenses? And I'm talking about the Raiders and the Chiefs.
You're a wild man.
Are
You're
they
a
good?
wild man.
Do you think they're above average?
No, I don't think the Raiders defense is above average. I think they're
Do
below
you read
average.
chat on YouTube and Twitch? AFC West got to be the best division. Oh, so he's agreeing with you. Uh,
Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Who is that? Can we get a shout out for him? Because he's a correct man. Or woman, whoever that is.
I really don't know how to pronounce homie's name, so I'm gonna call him Mern B Duck. Mern B
Man,
Duck. He's agreeing with you. The
thank
AFC
you.
West is the best division.
Thank you. Thank you. Because it makes the most sense. You got Patrick Mahomes, you got Tyreek Hill, you got Kelsey. That's one offense. Then you throw in Clyde Edwards-Helaire on that. You throw Josh Jacobs, you got Derek Carr, you got Russell Wilson, you got Jerry Jeudy, you got Cortland Sutton. Uh, who's their other receiver? KJ Hamler. Um, that offensive line, their running backs, Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. And I didn't even get to the Chargers yet. I didn't even get to Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. Come on, man. Jared Cook, and that's still a good time, bro. Darren Waller and Kelsey are in the same division.
But do you see my point where both sides of the ball, your lack of defense is kind of holding you guys back from those two teams, the
They
Raiders and
don't
the
have an
Chiefs?
offense like the Raiders. Most of those offenses don't have an offense like the Raiders. I understand we're bad on defense, but we still got Max Crosby. We still have two very good young safeties. One is a safety, one's a corner. Hobbs and Morick. You
Russell
still got
Wilson.
Josh Jacobs. What?
This is from Duck. Uh, Russell Wilson went from Aaron Donald and Von Miller to Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. Rest in peace.
It's gonna be tough for him. It's definitely. I'm not going to sit here and say it's gonna be easy. But yeah, yeah. I mean, he got a point. He got a point. And you know what's the craziest thing is? Not only does he have a point, yes, he has a point from the edges, but that back half is going to be covering just to let them boys get there. They're going to touch Russell Wilson, and honestly, they're going to get to Derek Carr too. I can't lie. Their back half is going to hold up. Patrick Surtain and Simmons and them boys, they're going to hold up, and they're going to get to the court. They're going to get to the quarterback.
Definitely.
Trust me.
All right. I'm really excited about Denver next year. I'm not saying they're the most exciting team coming into next year out of your division, but I think they can definitely make some noise. I think they can not easily, but I definitely think they can be that team that makes a surprise run at the playoffs and be one of those teams that make playoffs that we're not used to, like one of the new teams per se. What do you think about the
Yeah,
division moving forward as now where it stands?
yeah. And it's a lot to say about this because I don't know if I brought it up on Wednesday's episode. When we talked about Russell Wilson. Um, Tom Brady leaves New England, wins the Super Bowl his first year with Tampa Bay. Matthew Stafford leaves Detroit and wins the Super Bowl his first year with the Rams. Obviously, I'm a Raiders fan, so I don't want this to happen, but it would be kind of crazy if that's just a 3 for 3 thing, right? These great veteran quarterbacks are leaving these organizations who are, I guess, not building around them in the right way.
Moving into rebuild situations.
Yeah, I guess okay, yeah, going into rebuild situations, so they can't really build around the quarterback right away. So then they leave and they go win a Super Bowl. I want to see if this trend continues, but I hope not. Clearly, I hope not. I'm ready to say.
All right. Um, you want to talk about Deshaun Watson because his court hearing is today.
Do we know anything? Did that come out yet, or is it
I
still
can
waiting?
check. But as far as I know, I think we're still waiting. But it's his hearing is supposed to be today. As far as whether we're going to know or not if he's going to be criminally charged, I believe that's
Hmm.
what the hearing's for. I do not know what time it is though. The still grand jury proceedings over some of Deshaun Watson's sexual assault and harassment complaints were scheduled for 10 a.m. And we're waiting, but to be determined whether anything will come or this day. So that was like 20 minutes ago. So that means I'm assuming this is on PT time, West Coast time.
Houston, or maybe I don't
Well,
know. I don't think so.
she's at least in what you call it
Okay.
PT time because she says 10 a.m. 20 minutes ago. But
Sure.
this is going to decide a lot. I think hopefully Deshaun Watson lands somewhere. Here's the thing. They're talking about the Steelers getting Deshaun Watson. I don't want to pay like a whole boatload of shit for Deshaun Watson. So I'd rather him go to like the Panthers or something. What do you think the best case scenario for Deshaun Watson is?
At this point, I want to see him outside the Texans too, and I also think the Texans quarterback. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now, but that rookie did a good job. He was a rookie this past year. He did a really good job at quarterback. Um,
Davis Mills?
yes, he did a good job at quarterback in this past year.
Did he do a good
Um,
job at quarterback, or did he do better than you thought he was going to do at quarterback? For
he
a
threw
quarterback
some
in that
dimes. He
position,
threw some dimes. He just threw some dimes. Honestly,
because I'm gonna be honest with you, Tyrod Taylor looked great those first 2 weeks of the season too,
no,
before he got hurt.
nah. There was then he got hurt. No, this kid looked better than Tyrod, and I like Tyrod. I'm a big fan of Tyrod. But if we're just being honest of what we saw these two players play this past year, Davis Mills looked better. There was a game specifically where Tyrod came back, and it was just it was bad. It was bad. Like by the second quarter, by the second half, they put Davis Mills back in. Anyway. I like Davis Mills, but I think Deshaun Watson just needs to, for the love of the NFC, he really needs to get traded to the NFC, whether it's the Saints, the Panthers, or Minnesota. I don't know. He needs to be traded to one of those, like the NFC team though, definitely. Um, but I also want to see him go to a team with weapons, not just, oh, we gave up Christian McCaffrey and like a first round pick and got Deshaun Watson back, and then y'all still struggling on the offensive line in Carolina. Um, And then with the Saints, if it brought Michael Thomas back, that would be a contender. And that division is wide open right now. Calvin Calvin Ridley's news, Matt Ryan, Tom Brady retiring. Um, it's just open. It's an open division. So I don't know. I hope the best for Deshaun Watson, honestly. But yeah.
Hope for the best for Deshaun Watson at the specific, only if he didn't do it. If he was actually out here and like parlors getting his thing whacked off, that's not acceptable. That's not okay. Especially if you're considered a top five, top six quarterback in the league, you can't be doing that shit. You can't be doing that shit.
What bothers me is the last time we saw Deshaun Watson was he was his back half of that last season. He had turned up. I think he had threw for the most yards that season out of nowhere. Like
You can say the back half, but I remember when we played him, it would have been early 2020. Uh, he looked good then, and this is like week two, week three, before his weapons really started getting going. His ball
yeah,
placement
because
looked good. He was moving out the pocket well. He just didn't have a team around him.
he didn't have an offensive line around him. They had one. Laramie Tunsil was there, really good left tackle. I'm not going to like say he's not, but the rest of the offensive line was very questionable.
Yep, definitely. All right. You got anything else for today before we hit the weekend?
We're not going to talk about the Philly Brooklyn game.
Brooklyn blew out Philly by like 30. I didn't watch the game last night, But I saw the box score this morning. My God. I'm not saying that automatically means that Brooklyn won the trade because they beat them without Ben Simmons even being on the floor. But that's not a good look. That's not a good
Brooklyn
look.
won that mother. Brooklyn won the trade. I don't care what nobody says. Brooklyn won the trade. Like, come on now, bro. Seth Curry by himself. Like, that is ridiculous. That's a 20-point scorer a night, like at least. And
Honestly, getting Steph Curry and getting who the other Al who did they get, Al Horford or something?
now they got a big man, not Al Horford, the Penguin, what they call him,
The Penguin.
Andre Drummond.
Oh,
Andre
okay.
Drummond,
That's a championship move in my opinion. That's what I consider a
bro.
championship move. Getting
Those are
those
some
two
pieces, bro.
because you got to think you're taking key role players from another team in the same conference as you that you might meet in the conference finals or made in the playoffs in general.
All for James Harden, and mind you, James Harden did not play good last night, and they could have just known how to put him in a, you know, but I don't know. He didn't play good last night. He didn't play good. Joel, the only one point in the game I really want to talk about is Joel Embiid and Kevin Durant yapping back and forth with each other. First off, all sports need that. That's great. Uh, but it just sucks that it was a blowout. After seeing that, because that was in the first quarter, but kind of want to see them like really going down to the line with it. But yeah, bro, I don't think this is a good trade for Philly. Still, I'm sorry, I don't. Besides the fact that you don't got to pay Ben Simmons, that's the only reason why it just wasn't a good trade. You gave up a defensive all star in Ben Simmons whenever he does decide to come back. You got an offensive juggernaut from outside in Seth Curry, and he can distribute the ball. Then you gave up a big men just don't grow on trees, even in the NBA. Like they just don't, especially being a veteran. And you got James Harden back. That doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me. But I like James Harden, but I like his game. I'll say that.
What else? I'm gonna do a quick preview of this the UFC fight this weekend. It's another fight night. Um, who's fighting? Go ahead. You about to say something?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Before we switch topics, y'all, I told y'all that Kyrie's a better two than James Harden. I just wanted to say that.
We're not about to have this conversation. Kyrie's a
This
point
is
guard.
facts. Kyrie was off the ball. Seth Curry was distributing the ball. Patty Mills is distributing the ball. Kyrie's off ball and hitting these threes. Bro, I'm telling you, he's a better two guard than James Harden. James
Kyrie,
Harden dances
Kyrie,
like a point.
Kyrie is best when he has the ball in his hand.
Kyrie is best when he doesn't have the ball in his hands and he gets the ball and then he just chucks up the shot and he makes the three. I'm trying to tell
All
y'all,
right,
this dude's
let me
just
say
a
it like this, Darren. Kyrie won a championship with the ball being in his hands. I don't think
fair.
Kyrie's gonna Cleveland.
I said fair, not
Oh,
where.
oh, it's like Cleveland. You forgot about this?
No,
Um, I don't think he's gonna win a championship playing off ball. That's my
you're
vote.
wrong. You are wrong. You
All right,
are very
all
wrong.
right. Prove me wrong then.
You are very wrong.
Prove me wrong then.
He's not going to be handling the ball. I'm trying to tell you, he's
All
a
right, win a
point.
championship like that.
Bro, they're going to. If they do, it's going to be Seth Curry, Patty Mills, and maybe Kevin Durant every once in a while, and Ben Simmons all handling the ball. Kyrie's going to handle the ball. He's going to get it every once in a while, but he's going to get the same mix as probably Kyrie or as KD. I promise you. I promise
All right, but let me preview this fight card this weekend real fast. If you guys don't know, there is a fight night this weekend in the UFC. Thiago Santos is facing Magov Anegliov. I don't know how to pronounce homie's name. I'm about to show it on screen right now. But I don't know how to pronounce his name, but guess what I do know? He's a Dagestani from Russia. And what do we know about Dagestanis from Russia, Darren?
For some reason, they've had the last couple of fights.
Because they're pushing him hard right now. They uh because of Khabib's retirement within the past year or so. A lot of Dagestanis are getting pushed right now. The UFC probably has about 10, maybe Dagestanis signed on their roster, maybe something like that.
So,
All of them have less than like 2 losses on their record.
these boys are built for this shit, man. These boys
The
are built for this shit. I'm telling you.
I say this a lot. The best way I can explain it is in America when people have kids and they're trying to get their kids into sports, and they actually want to get their kids into sports young and want them to be successful, possibly to do it in the future. What are the two sports that we get our kids into? Basketball and football. Those are the two main ones. So what happens is, uh, over time and over years, we develop great basketball and football players. In Dagestan, their sport is mixed martial arts. It's not wrestling. It's not jujitsu. It's not boxing. It's not just a discipline by itself. It's the whole sport of mixed martial arts and just winning fights. So the kids growing up watching Khabib dominate the sport, that next generation of Dagestanis are going to be the scariest thing we probably ever see in the UFC.
You
Because
mean
these
compete?
kids not only grew up watching MMA and loving MMA from a kid, they're training in it, they're learning in it. They're 5 years old, 4 years old in the MMA gym learning from that age. These kids are being built to be dominant in MMA, is my point. And
You mean,
we should be scared as a fighting world.
I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I can tell you why. I'm not in the. I don't. I will never get in that octagon. I'm not scared.
Well, I'm talking about for the UFC community and fans of American or non-Dagestani fighters. It's scary out. It's scary out. I
I
wouldn't be
mean,
surprised. This might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but I would not be surprised if a Dagestani was holding all the belts. If were holding all the belts in all their divisions at some point, and I wouldn't be. And one Dagestani is probably gonna have multiple belts.
dog. I mean. Well, first off, UFC compared to most other sports is still a young sport, right?
MMA, but yes.
MMA, yeah, it's still young. Okay, MMA is still a young sport.
As far as the UFC has been around for about 25 years, so to give
But
you kind of
but
a base.
let me let me land. So if it's a younger sport and it's a mixed martial arts, and we it started off so much with people with one discipline trying to convert into learning everything else, or just taking that one discipline into the UFC or UFC into the octagon and using it. Isn't it the natural evolution of the sport for people to be training in every aspect sooner rather than learning one thing? If that makes sense.
Yes, and you can start to see it because around America, there's MMA gyms popping up everywhere. So you're starting to see a lot of people getting into MMA, a lot of teenagers and kids getting into MMA too. So yes, it is the natural progression of the sport. But my point is, we still have football and basketball here in America. Your people, they might like their kids do karate or something. But they're still probably gonna put their kids in football, basketball, baseball. Those are still gonna be our main sports and our main quote unquote exports as far as entertainment and sports goes, right? Theirs
Yeah,
is MMA. They grow up watching MMA. Kids here
but
aren't necessarily going to grow up watching MMA. They might watch a fight here and there, but there's still going to be a lot of parents who say, "Oh, that's too violent. I don't want my kid watching that." They might not be able to watch it till they're in high school, until they're 14. Then they might want to get
forget
into
about
like the wrestling team or something, but that's still a real thing. And the reason I say that is Khabib was grappling bears at 5, Darren. They
it. He's
grapple
different.
bears in Russia, bro. I'm
Different.
saying it's bad out. It's bad out. It's really really bad out.
I don't know at all. I think it's great for the sport.
Oh no, it's great for the sport, obviously, but
Yeah, I want to
not
see how
for
good.
if you're not Dagestani. Shit's not gonna be looking good for you in like 5 years.
Shit, learn it. Learn what they learn. Go to their training. I don't think they're going to say, "Hey, you're not from here. Don't train with us." Go train with them. Learn, steal that shit, and then go beat them. That's the way I look at it. They're not doing nothing that you can't. I won't say take,
So
but learn. Like there's not, it's not going to be on film. It's not like
it's not that, Darren. The If we were to specifically talk about the grappling and specifically wrestling is one of those things that builds over years. And the earlier you start, you get like a big head start on somebody that started later in life. For example, they say if you see a high school wrestler, somebody who started wrestling in high school versus somebody who started wrestling at 5 years old, even
like,
10 years from that date when they started wrestling together in high school, there's still going to be, they say there's still going to be strong differences because one kid started when he was 5. There's just going to be things that you need to learn over years of time of wrestling. There's like levels to it. So
I,
the earlier you start, the better it is for you in the long run. So
I
once
see.
again, starting MMA later in life puts you at a disadvantage, a huge disadvantage,
Yeah,
especially going against these Dagestanis. Because once
I,
again, this nigga was wrestling bears and shit at 5,
I
and you
mean,
probably didn't start wrestling until you got in middle school, high school.
I think
So
it's just about the sport. Like you said, I guess it's just we put you want to put your kid more into basketball or football,
right,
and
and
it's
definitely
just
over
different. It's
time,
different opportunities. Just different opportunities.
definitely American athletes are going to get better. Specifically, when you're seeing when you're talking about specialists, when you were talking about specialists earlier, well, we have Olympic level wrestlers that American wrestling. A lot of people, Brazilians, even the good jiu-jitsu guys, still have trouble with the American style of wrestling because Americans are only people that wrestle like that. They don't have wrestling in the UK. They don't
Mm,
they don't wrestle in the UK. We start wrestling in America in like middle school. Once again, it's just the younger you start, the more of an advantage you got. So we have an American wrestling advantage over people from the UK.
these are
Uh,
the times I wish somebody from the UK was watching this and we could just ask them flat out, like, "Hey, do y'all not really have not wrestling? Do y'all really not have wrestling at that young of age?"
it's American wrestling, right? That's what it's technically called.
I mean,
It's an
uh,
American thing.
I don't know.
No, Darren,
I don't know.
it's our so American wrestling is a style of wrestling. There are
That's
different
what.
styles of wrestling. Like for example, Khabib when he was younger, he trained in sambo. It's not the same scoring, it's not the same sport, but it's the same concepts of grappling. In the
Then
UK, they don't do that. They play soccer and shit like
no,
that.
just said they have wrestling. It's
It's
just
not
not
American.
American wrestling. Yeah, it's just not American wrestling
They
because
don't
it's in
have
UK.
wrestling though.
I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know. I don't know. There's American wrestling. There's wrestling all over. I
So
don't know if
let me
it's
put it like
UK.
this. Let me put it like this.
That just doesn't
They don't
sound right
have
to me.
wrestling. There's not like a sport in their schools. They probably have soccer. They probably have cricket, maybe even basketball, tennis. It's not a sport in their schools. Is that a better
I
way to
see
put
what
it?
it's not an academic sport. I see what you're saying. It's not something that you grow up playing
You
unless you
have to
do it
go to an
outside
MMA
of.
gym to learn.
Okay, now that makes more sense, but still, I
All
I
right,
don't.
but this episode's been going on pretty long. We should be wrapping up.
Yep.
So, thank you guys for tuning in for this episode. Shout out to my man Duck for commenting. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. We have a YouTube and a Twitch channel. Please go check us out. Inspired by Ambition every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we do a podcast called the Purple Pill Podcast every Sunday. Thank you guys once again for checking us out.